Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Creating Crimson's Fantasy. Before beginning this episode, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been supporting this project thus far. It's relatively early on in development, and it seems a lot of people are excited to see the project unfold even further. In this episode, we're going to go through the new inventory system, user interfaces, the world system, and more. Your inventory plays a large part in RPGs. That's no different in Crimson's Fantasy. I went ahead and adjusted our item looting system to be simpler. I previously wanted the items to fly out like Diablo, but unfortunately I encountered some issues, so I dropped that idea for now. Instead, items drop with physics enabled for the time being. A question I got was how I'll be handling the inventory. Will there be a limited amount of slots or a weight system? I'm choosing to not do either of them for the sake of having fun with the game. Weight systems and limiting slots is a great game design choice for multiplayer RPGs, and it pushes the player to sell their items. For Crimson's Fantasy, I'm choosing to give the player a set amount of slots in the beginning, but as they level up, they'll drastically increase their slots, making it much easier to pick up more stuff. As some of you know, my path into art started with graphic design, which helped me tremendously in learning how to create user interfaces. One of the things that I played around with this week was a centralized interface that contained essentially everything you'll need in one spot. You can access your inventory, progression, journal, world map, and settings from here. The primary reason why I want everything to be in one spot is because I want proper controller support added to the game. Someday I want to introduce this game to my family and friends so they can have fun with it. I'll make sure that it's both PC and controller friendly though. Something I completely forgot to mention in the last video is that I'll be doing weekly development streams on my Twitch stream. I'm going to be aiming for a couple hours every Wednesday, so make sure you tune in at twitch.tv/firstcrimson. This week, I'll be refining and fleshing out the inventory system even further. Crimson's Fantasy takes place in a fantasy world. It doesn't really resemble a planet whatsoever, but is more like worlds split into pieces. The goal is to have a system where the player can progress by defeating world bosses. In defeating these bosses, the player can advance to a new act. Acts have different themes, enemies, and loot. The player could go from a mystical forest filled with medieval weaponry to a land filled with cherry blossoms and unique weaponry, like katanas. The goal is to give incentives to exploring these different worlds, specifically the ability to find unique equipment and items. World bosses would be located in the deepest and darkest places in the game. They could have unique abilities, strategies, and potentially phases. When you defeat a world boss, you'll unlock both the next act and the higher level areas in the current act, so you can continue exploring the current world and unlock its hidden treasures. Professions will play a large part in your adventure. As you level up your professions, you'll be able to equip and craft higher level gear. Professions will also allow you to access certain rooms, chests, and features throughout the worlds. At the moment, I have some bare bones stuff implemented for mining. There's no animations or anything yet, just a simple progress bar and the ability to gain ores. And that concludes episode 3. Fortunately, nobody had the high ground, so we didn't have any issues. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Also share the video if you'd like, it helps me a ton. Don't forget to check out my stream, guaranteed dev streams every Wednesday, and potentially some more on other days. Give it a look and see if you enjoy it. We have a fantastic community and we'd love to have you.